Hi everyone, happy 4th of July. I'm here with a Tuesday tutorial post. Hopefully give you some advice that can help you practice different ideas in your jazz playing. And I got a great question actually on my Monday post from yesterday. A question from Thomas.Hart04 asking how to branch out from just your traditional major and minor scales into playing melodic lines that sound a little bit more jazzy and just outside your most basic note choices of what you might make. And this is actually a great question that I feel like I could make a whole series of videos out of this topic, but I've got some great places to start from that are fairly easy to practice, so I wanted to share those with you today. So this is a technique that teachers will often call bitonality. I think it's got some different names, but really what you're doing is using pentatonic scales that match up a little differently with your basic seventh chords, minor seventh chords, dominant seventh chords, and then major seventh chords. So we will be looking at this in terms of a 2-5-1 chord progression, kind of like how we've done on some of our other videos. So to start with, we're gonna just look at a basic 2-5-1 chord progression in the key of C. So here's our D minor 7 at the beginning of our 2-5-1 progression. So what we're gonna do is use the C major pentatonic scale to be our notes for improvising over the D minor 7. So we've got C, D, E, G, and A. And you'll notice that against the D minor 7, this actually gives a lot of really colorful note choices. Like you got the 7th of the chord, the root, the 9th, which is very nice, 11, and the 5th as well. So then we'll go to the G7 chord, and now this is where it gets interesting. We're going to do a D flat major pentatonic scale against this chord. So it sounds like. So you got D flat, E flat, F, A flat, and B flat. And people who are familiar with tritone substitutions will recognize that this is basically a tritone away from the chord that's being played. And there's a lot of music theory crossover as to why we would choose this pentatonic scale against the chord. If you know anything about the diminished whole tone scale or other topics like that, basically you're choosing what might be considered the tastiest notes. And that's what make up this pentatonic scale to go against the G7 chord. So that sounds particularly outside. And then when you get to the C major 7 chord, you're going to use the D major 7, or the D major pentatonic scale, excuse me. So you got D, E, F sharp, A, and B. Also very colorful sounding. So while you're doing this 2-5-1 progression of the chords, your improvising note choices are these different pentatonic scales, C, D flat, and D, which you'll notice are moving up in half steps. So it kind of creates this interesting tension, which leads to basically a system of playing outside the chord changes in a sense, but because you're doing it in this kind of systematic way, it makes it easier to practice and also easier to sort of play a coherent solo using these ideas. So I'll demonstrate a little bit of what this would sound like. So if we're going kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a really fun topic to talk about and give examples of, and this Bitonality mixed with pentatonic scales is just one technique for sort of systematically making note choices that are outside the typical major and minor scales that you might be familiar with. So if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it. And I will be back tomorrow with some more information. And thank you so much.